But another thing that I voted for, I feel pretty safe to say you did too, when it comes to just undoing all of the wrongs of the Biden administration, the Obama administration, all of this deep state bullshit, is that the FBI has now purged 3 more deep state actors from the top levels of the federal government. Here's this Daily Mail article. Trump starts firing purge of top FBI agents opposed to his administration as they decry retribution. Now, I'll let you be the judge. If you think that this is retribution and they don't have a valid reason to be fired. This is Brian Driscoll, Stephen Jensen, and Walter Giardina. Now, Brian Driscoll, let me tell you about him. He was a former FBI acting director appointed in January 2025, and he was replaced by Kash Patel. So he was appointed in January 2025, replaced by Kash. Don't need him. Just don't need him. No reason for him anymore. Stephen Jensen, acting director of the FBI's Washington field office. And he, let me just tell you, heavily involved in the January 6th investigation.
See that.
Gone. No, thank you. We don't need that anymore. No, we're not into political persecution, at least of the right.
Listen, this needed to happen. In fact, it's not enough. I mean, they need to go through the FBI with a fine tooth comb because nobody trusts them anymore.
No. And with very good reason.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, when we have questions about, sorry, but Kash and Dan, and I love both of them. I now have questions that I would like answers to. I do hope, and I am cautiously optimistic that I will get those answers, right? But I do have questions now. At the very top levels, certainly the holdouts from below that definitely need to go. That brings me to Walter Giardina, this third one, a special agent who investigated the Trump advisor Peter Navarro, and he also played a significant role in Crossfire Hurricane. Yes. Which was extremely illegal. Special counsel Mueller's investigation, he was a part of that as well, and the Dan Scavino, Roger Stone, and Hillary Clinton cases. So apparently there was a press release back in June from Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley's office. And according to whistleblowers, Giardina was an initial recipient of the Steele dossier and falsely said that the report was corroborated as true. He stated openly his animosity towards President Trump and made known his personal motivation to investigate Trump, and electronically wiped the laptop he was assigned while working for special counsel Mueller outside of established protocol for record preservation, raising the possibility that he destroyed government records. Oh, by the way, he instructed agents to use false emolument clause predication on President Trump to, quote, dig around. Also was a case agent assigned to the Crimson River case, later changed to the Red Masari. This case was leaked roughly 90 days before the presidential election in an attempt to falsely discredit President Trump. I want you to pay close attention to the last sentence that I uttered, at least the last part of it. In an attempt to falsely discredit President Trump. That means they knew that it was not true and they wanted to discredit him anyway. Now, if you don't believe that there are, you know what? I think it would be low to say hundreds more just like him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're talking thousands more just like him, because that's what happens in big government. There are thousands more just like him. If you don't believe that they are still there, you're crazy. This has to be, I mean, remember, we were saying before the election, burn the whole thing down. Burn the whole damn thing down. And so I am hopeful that it's like, okay, if we're releasing top, like high level people who were involved in all that type of thing, and now we're like, you're fired, I am hopeful that that is going to trickle down. It just can't stop here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what they're going to do. Look, when COVID happened, and all those great patriots said, I'm not taking the vaccine, and they got booted out of the army, they got booted out of police forces, they got booted out of the FBI. That there are some good people that took the vaccine that stayed in, but what they did was they basically alienated and got rid of anyone that might really stand up against the people that are above them that might be corrupt, right? And I think that's a really important thing to note. So what you do, you get rid of these people who stand up for what they believe in, that have morals, and then you've got to bring other people in, right?
Yeah.
So who do you bring in, especially if you know who the top brass are? I had a long conversation with my friend Tim Clemente, who's in the FBI for a long time. I know a bunch of FBI agents, and I know a lot of them that left. In the same way I know a lot of people in the military that got to colonel, and they're like, we don't want to go and become a general because all of a sudden that becomes a political thing. You know, I have to kiss the ring. And that's not the way it should be. I mean, we see it with DEI. What we need to get back to is impartiality and people that are good at their job. Like just simply, I mean, and the DEI thing is a massive problem. I mean, wait until you see the amount of females that were promoted and female, I hate to say it, minorities that were promoted in a very short period of time.
I mean, you had me at female minorities. Oof.
I mean, it's a double whammy, right?
Oof.
I'm not even going to say the third one. I'm not even going to say the third aspect of it, but it is a major problem. And when you also have to look at who the recruiting was targeting over the past few years. And in the same way, like my son wanted to go to West Point, and then he didn't want to go to West Point anymore. And why didn't he want to go to West Point? Because if you guys remember, there was the kid there that opened his shirt and he was wearing like some communist thing underneath, and then the wokeism, the bringing in of transgenders, that actually stopped for a good 5 years at least of good kids that would have gone into the military. In the same way, it stopped good people from joining the FBI, because normally it's patriots. So I think the FBI mainly recruits from, if I'm correct, now you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, like mainly from places like Notre Dame and Brigham Young. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. That's what my friend told me, is that they're very heavily recruiting from people who have religious conviction. Not that I'd say this as a Catholic, like Notre Dame. It's not really a religious place. It certainly wouldn't be considered Catholic anymore. But it does lend to a backbone of morals. And I think that is kind of gone.
Yeah.
Now, and we need to get back to that. Like, it's a vocation, right? You want to do what's good and help people. And I think we've got, for the past, at least since Obama, we've got a bunch of people coming in that they don't care about that.
Yeah. Well, and I was just going through some of the old monologues that I had given during the Biden administration. And I was like, man, there was a lot more to talk about then, because there was a lot of evil going on. And President Trump himself has stopped a lot of that with just like a pen, right? And an executive order, which is great. But there are still things that are plaguing not just the Trump administration, but any administration, a J.D. Vance administration. I mean, any administration that doesn't kiss the ring, any administration that, of course, is trying to clean the mess up that is in D.C. rather than extend their powers that are already abused. And so one of the ways that they are doing that is in the FBI, of course, and the DOJ, where they still have to take out the rot. Looking at you, Pam Bondi, maybe spend a little less time on Fox News and a little more time taking all of your deep state agents out and rooting them out. But another place that they're doing it that we've talked about all the time is, of course, these federal judges that are overstepping their bounds. You had the Supreme Court who ruled, who had to rule, because you had these district judges that were coming in and trying to tell President Trump he couldn't do something nationwide. And it's like, you don't have the authority to even rule on something like that for the entire nation. So stay in your lane type thing. Well, I just saw this headline today. Federal judge halts expansion at Trump administration's Alligator Alcatraz detention facility in Florida. They halted. So this says, the judge said for now that the facility can continue to hold migrant detainees, but cannot add any new infrastructure capacity. Isn't that so interesting, Matt? Isn't it so funny that these federal judges are coming in and they're saying, no, you have to send this foreign aid to these places. You cannot, as the highest executive in the country, you can't tell us where the money is going to go. So you can't make the decision to stop sending taxpayer money to all of these foreign places that taxpayers don't want their money spent. towards. But I can tell you that you cannot spend taxpayer money to get a handle on all of these illegals and build an infrastructure to get them the hell out.
And
it's
then,
crazy.
But then what they also do is complain about the conditions. I'd pile them up 6 deep.
Yep.
I wouldn't give a shit.
Yep.
I mean, the problem is this. Number one, where's this money coming from? I'll tell you this right now, with the defunding of USAID, that has gone. We will find out, it will come out in time, how that was funneling. I know we've seen it already, but how that was funneling money into these leftist organizations. That's what it was. I mean, the American taxpayers are basically being betrayed, right? So it's not all about Sesame Street, right? Don't believe what they say, right? This is it's
also they like made Elmo gay or something. So who cares if it is about Sesame? I mean, don't let your kids watch it.
Yeah, but I mean,
Elmo's not gay, but I think there's a gay. There's something about gay.
Well, this is the problem, and I was actually talking to someone about this. Just a little segue about what's going on in the movie industry right now. Is that people saying, "Oh, it's fatigue." You don't know anymore. Whatever movie you go and see, if you go and see Buzz Lightyear, they just can't help themselves but put something subversive in there. So people are just saying, do you know what? After 10 years of you guys doing this, we're not going to take it anymore. I'm just absolutely done, right? So here's the thing, Sarah. Until we get to the absolute bottom of who is funding these judges' campaigns and getting to the root cause of it. Look, we know this. We know the way that in years gone by, if you wanted to get a drug dealer, you let the little fish go, right? You would, the FBI or the DEA are bringing a case, and what they're doing is they're going for the big fish. They're going for the big narco. Why aren't we doing this right now? Why? Because we know who one of them is,
right,
that's done this for a very long time, and I've been scratching my head for years. And by the way, don't get me on this, because nothing happened about the IRS, which should have been closed, right? Because what they did to especially conservatives and Catholic charities, the way they targeted them, nothing happened. And the one thing that I see over and over and over and over again on social media is there have been no arrests. There have been no arrests over COVID. There have been no arrests over the IRS targeting. There's been no arrests over Epstein. We can just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And it's going to take something massively radical, which I think what we're seeing right now is that, like Pete Hegseth going, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and do what I need to do. I don't care.
Right.
And that is what is needed. But Sarah, it's just to get it back to normal.
Right. And the amount of years that it's going to take to get there is...
And will. Yeah. Once Trump's gone...
Yeah. It's gonna, like, we're gonna need JD Vance.
We have to have JD Vance. They will undo it in 5 seconds flat.
If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.